The Republican Party has made clear that a chunk of their platform will focus solely on the issue of pornography and how they believe it is a public health concern. Now, not only has the Republican Party made this part of their platform, there are certain organizations, such as Enough is Enough, that push the Republican Party in that conservative direction. Now, recently, interestingly enough, Donald Trump, who seemed to have been an avid supporter of pornography, is now saying that he will fight porn tooth and nail. Let me give you the details on that. According to the Huffington Post, Trump has promised not only to fight child pornography and sex trafficking, but give serious consideration to appointing a presidential commission to examine the harmful public health impact of internet pornography on youth, families, and the American culture. So again, this is what Enough is Enough was really pushing for, and I was curious to see what Trump's reaction would be, considering the fact that nude pictures of his wife were just leaked by the New York Post, and also considering
People
the fact—
say from him.
From him. I mean, there are conspiracy theories about how he leaked it in order to distract people from the feud he's having with Kaiser Khan.
I was briefly distracted, I will admit.
It's hard not to be distracted by such a story. Yeah, she's beautiful. But nonetheless, he was also on the cover of Playboy magazine, which, you know, we can show you right now, Exhibit A. It's just kind of amazing, right? And then
God, his hair was always terrible.
It was, yeah.
Jeez.
And then and here's the New York Post cover. That literally came out on Sunday. And on Monday, he came out and said that he was going to fight pornography.
Yeah. Look, very briefly, the New York Post shouldn't have posted that. And not because, like, people are saying that it's slut-shaming her. No, I mean, she's a model. She took the photos. The photos were out there. Like, she shouldn't feel any shame whatsoever that her work is being spread. It's just, it has nothing to do with the presidential election.
Nothing at all. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know why that needs to be on the cover of any magazine, any publication.
They want to sell it.
They want to sell it. And look, it was a news story, so of course they're going to make some money off of that. And, you know, remember, the New York Post endorsed Trump back in April. Yeah. So I highly doubt that they would, like, leak it to do something to damage his campaign. Maybe I really do think that Trump had something to do with it, but that's just my speculation.
Possible, yeah. Yeah, so look, in response to him coming out now, all the early stories that I had read, I was incorrectly under the assumption that this was just about child pornography and child trafficking and all that. But that message at the end, the damage that it does to families and to American culture, whenever a Republican candidate, or hell, Democrats too, talk about wanting to protect American culture, they're lying to you. I may not know exactly how, but they're lying some way. And so Donald Trump, what's the problem? Is that pornography too politically incorrect for you? You don't like some of the positions or some of the orientations that they're doing there? And you think grown adults need to be protected from that stuff? Do you need a safe space from pornography? I love the inconsistency that he gets all this credit for being a straight shooter. He's anti-porn. He's fucking Rick Santorum. That's all he is at the end of the day. He's stripped off the sweater vest and he put an orange sweater on his head. And it's the same orientation of the world, the same ridiculous control over stuff that doesn't hurt you and you should have every legal right to access.
I have less of a problem with what Enough is Enough is asking for, but what the Republican platform adopted in terms of pornography was crazy. Like, they basically want to do away with pornography, period. They think that it's ruining families and all that. At least with Enough is Enough, they're really honing in on, I think, a very serious problem, and that's child trafficking and child pornography. Like, yes, every political party should be concerned with that, and every political party should try to combat that. But I just find it interesting, you know, how priorities work with conservatives, because on one hand, you know, you have them applauding the death penalty, you have them applauding cuts to government programs that would help the poor and make sure that hungry kids would get food on the table, and they're also applauding any type of, you know, deregulation of guns, right? Making it easier and easier for people to obtain guns. I mean, if you want to talk about serious societal ills and things that we need to combat, I would say making sure we focus on common sense gun legislation makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, ban guns. We got to get rid of guns. Guns are the problem. Guns are a problem, but even if you don't believe in regulating or restricting gun access, how come we don't have any conversations about making sure that parents pay some hefty fines or penalties if they're not keeping their guns locked away? there are too many stories of kids getting their hands on guns and we're just like, nah, Second Amendment. No, not Second Amendment. We should pass laws that make it harder for kids to get their hands on their parents' guns. But we don't talk about gun safety. We don't talk about things that are actual problems in the country. We talk about porn.